The reason that we decided to, go above and beyond with the regulation and the licensing, it was because like there's so many scams out there, right? Like I've spoken
Mm,
just in the last 7 days
mm.
to other fellow Aussies who have lost in excess of combined over $1 million from
Yeah,
scams
wow.
online. One person 3 days ago, he lost 340,000 AUD from a single scam. Another person yesterday, 200,000. The recipe for success that we have is the right education plus direct support to me, so you can't go wrong. Can you fail? I mean, really. All right, we've got Christian here. He just finished our 30-day coaching program, man. Tell everyone just in one sentence, if you could describe it, what would you say?
Full of really relevant content that hits the mark. Just comes down to knowing what to look for. That's the big one. Just taking the discretionary trades out and just really sort of following set piece, a set rule, and sort of feeling confident then that you can set it, let it go, and walk away. Probability bucket that you speak about, it's going to be full and you've got a better chance of winning than losing. And that's a really nice thing.
How does it stack up against that free YouTube content? Everyone always says, "Oh, you can learn for free off YouTube."
Oh
Don't
God,
get me
Mitch.
wrong. Like YouTube's great for a lot of things, but I definitely wouldn't learn day trading from YouTube.
Mate, they've got heaps of good stuff on YouTube. The problem is you can't put it together.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different opinion. You got to find your way with some help from somebody that can sort of tone things to your style with their sort of way of working and put it all together. Get it all in a line. And it's so difficult to do that unless you have help from somebody that can actually spend that one-on-one time with you and that actually cares about you too. Your response times show you care. And mate, I've paid for course content. Great content, but it was like giving me 50 bits of a puzzle and saying, put the puzzle together yourself.
That's right.
With you sort of show us how to put the puzzle together. One of the benefits of this course is that you're legally compliant, you're regulated. You've got to be really careful, in particular in Australia, because we're over-regulated here in this country, but for good reason, for good reason.
Yeah.
So coming from a banking and financial services, I need to say that for good reason. But ultimately, Mitch, like that just shows how professional you are. And that's what I'd say separates this course from others, is it is professional. It's the real deal. But if you live elsewhere like New Zealand or even in the States, definitely come here as well. But I think in particular, if you're an Aussie, this is where you want to be trading and this is the group you want to be part of. But mate, I'm excited for what the future holds. Just the content that you give and the extras, and it's just second to none.
Someone who does come from that banking and finance world, you've got a good perspective on the value of information. And although we don't charge a monthly subscription for our private clients, what would you say that was worth if you did have to pay? Put a figure on it.
Oh, mate, I give my financial advisor over 20 grand a year to manage my stuff. Like, that's every year. And he manages a portfolio of $500,000. Like, that's not a lot of money in the context of some of the other clients that he's managing. And it's a percentage of what he's got invested that he charges. So it's just the best value for money, in my opinion, you can get if you're serious about doing this. It's absolutely amazing. Mate, you're almost a charity.
On our first call, I told you, right? The recipe for success that we have is the right education, plus direct support to me, plus then also access to all the charts and trades and levels and targets, so you can't go wrong. Can you fail? I mean, really?
Not unless extremely silly. And I've never been once feel like I'm forced or to do anything with this. It's always been, look, just for your information, just letting you know what's going on in the context that I can see things. It's up to you how you see things. And that's the other piece as well. Is I've always felt respected through the whole thing, where it's always, no, I can see how you're seeing that. And have you looked at this as well? And should you be looking at that as well? It's peripheral awareness that you miss if you don't get that mentoring. And you said it to me from day one. I said, what do I need, Mitch? This is my problem statement. What do I need? And you said, you need one-on-one mentoring.
One-on-one coaching allows unique services to what you struggle with. And if you think you're going to go and do a generic course that just says, go watch these 70 hours of modules and good luck to you and expect to get results, like I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that's not the reality in the financial markets. And take that from Christian, who comes from a financial and banking background.
And every person has their own little style, their own little ways that emotions affects them and everything else. And once again, the tailored nature of this, where you do get that relationship with a trader, with somebody that looks at the markets, that can give you some insight and can give you some help and can give you some feedback on things that may or may not be getting in your way. It just helps.
Not about staring at charts 24 hours a day, right? Like, so many people come to me, they're like 8-10 hours of chart time a day. I'm like, man, I look at a chart for 30 minutes to an hour, and whether it's banging or not. That's sort of, I guess, where your trading was and where you're at now. Would you agree?
100%. I think you can get lost in the charts. And the other thing is if you're looking at your P&L and you're living through pullbacks and whatnot, you're just going to drive yourself mad. And so you sort of get to take profit pretty quick. You're right pretty quick, and if you're wrong pretty quick.
I want to ask you, Christian, like, obviously from where you were coming into the program, what was sort of that tipping tipping point that made you say, okay, I want to invest in a coach, I want to get a mentor? And on top of that, what was it about us that made you obviously choose our program over others?
You speak my language. You speak in the same way I speak. And I've dealt with a lot of traders overseas, and look, they're not bad guys, but at the end of the day, they don't understand us. They don't understand the hours that we're working within. And I'll warm to you straight away. But I think the biggest thing was just having that chat with you, and the fact that you, as an owner of a business, are willing to sit down and have that chat and work out who's right for your group and who isn't right for your group. That got a lot of respect from me, and I actually felt like I wanted to be part of your group, and I would have been upset if you didn't pick me.
How quickly did you get the support that you needed throughout the program from the day you walked in up until, day dot?
You're just always there. I hear back from you generally within 20 minutes, half an hour. I just don't understand. I get all sorts of times. The great thing about it is stuff doesn't stew, because when you got a question, generally you're on the charts, you're looking at something and you just kind of need that help. And the other thing is just being able to share trades with you has been awesome, and just get your feedback. That's been huge. And the fact that I get to work with you ongoing is awesome.
How fast can you confidently analyze a chart?
2 minutes. 2 minutes, you look at it and you sort of an idea. Am I looking for buys or I'm looking for sells? And then you can look at your finer parts and set some alerts and get off, really. Have a look. Usually your first thoughts on how you're looking at things are the ones that are right. And then it's just a matter of what's your entry and when you're getting in.
Was there any particular part of that course that was like an absolute game changer for you?
Just what to look for entry. I could always read sort of a structure of a market. And let's be honest, when we're dealing with stop losses that aren't huge in the context of a market in a long period of time, you've got to be graceful in your entry. And so for me, that was the key thing. Is what conditions to look for in those timelines, and how to bring all your charts together was the other piece. And all of that sort of stuff needs to be put together. And I think your course puts it together really, really well.
Now that you've come out the other end of that course structure, was it easy to understand than you thought?
Oh, it's easy. And the greatest thing about it is you can do it in your own time. So once I got into the content, I just wanted to get into it. So I could sit there and kind of like watch the content, and I go back and watch it again. That's then backed up with my coaching sessions as well, that kind of reiterate what we've learned. And that's what I really like too. It was kind of coming in and going, I've got a structure here for us to work through. Then we'll go through questions. And so I just felt like I came out of every session just a bit sharper. And so that was key for me. So learn the content at your own pace, have your coaching session to reinforce the content, and then go again. And I thought that worked really, really well throughout the course of the month and a bit.
Yeah, that's amazing. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how quickly were you able to understand and adapt those strategies? Was it complex? Was it overwhelming?
Yeah, 2, 3. The way your content describes the things we're looking for, it just puts it right back into simplistic terms, things that you can relate to, things that you do day to day, but it's just simple and easy, and just makes things, understand things a hell of a lot better, because the markets aren't easy to understand, but the content kind of gives you the way to look at it so that you can simplify it. And as you always say, simple scales, complex fails. It's my new favorite saying.
And I want to ask you, in your opinion, if someone that's watching this is maybe on the fence about joining the waitlist, what would you tell them?
If you're serious about trading, you should do it. What do they say? They say you either pay your tuition on the charts, or you pay your tuition by learning. It's really that simple. Or if you're me, a little bit of both. And you've got to do that. It's like an apprenticeship, at the end of the day, Mitch. And what's the problem in investing yourself if you're serious about this? For me, it was about getting the right guidance, because I want to make this work. So if you want to make it work, do a course. Yeah. And this is one of the best courses out there from what I can see in the time that I've spent. If you're engaged and you keep making something of this, we will stay with you on the journey. I think that's key. And mate, you get out what you put in, just like anything else in life.
Exactly. And obviously you've joined some live trading sessions now. I'm sure you got just as much value from them as what you would from the coaching calls, for instance.
So I have ideas on entry, and the course gives you guidelines on entry. Then emotions can get involved. Probably the other thing I mentioned, Mitch, the content isn't just what to do and what to look for. It actually also talks about how you manage your emotions, and how you look at other things that you don't think about, how you run your risk management, all those sort of things that people don't emphasize. Probably the thing that takes you from sort of either break even or just below profitable to actually being consistently profitable.
The results that you've got from our education, now coaching, are amazing. And the reason that we decided to, go above and beyond with the regulation and the licensing, it was because there's so many scams out there, right? I've spoken just in the last 7 days to other fellow Aussies who have lost in excess of combined over $1 million from scams online. One person 3 days ago, he lost 340,000 AUD from a single scam. Another person yesterday, 200,000. And so it's crazy to think that these other Aussies are getting trapped and falling victim to these scams overseas. But like Christian said, if you're an Aussie, if you're in Australia, work with an Aussie that's licensed to give you general advice in the first place, and you can't go wrong.
100%.
All right, dude. Look forward to it. Thank you so much for everything. And I can't wait to share those results with everyone else in 6 months from now.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it.